Hello. Welcome to another FanTeam DFS show. I nearly said golf there, Shaun. I'm quite used to do the golf ones, but there we go. I am joined by Mr. Shaun himself. How are you doing, mate?
Yes, I'm good. Good job we're not doing golf because we'd be a bit late.
Yeah, we would be a bit late. But we are here to talk about the Gameweek 36 EPL Monster, but a bit of a different show today. Me and Shaun are going to give you a couple of tips and strategies on how we approach things playing DFS, really. So if we're going to single enter the monster this week, we're going to show you how to do that, how we would approach it. Or if we're going to multi-enter, we're going to show you how to do that as well and how we would approach it. But that is the great thing about DFS on a whole, isn't it, Shaun? Really, there's so many different ways you can approach playing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways, and it's all how you're accustomed to and how you want to attack things, isn't it? And your own playing style, isn't it? People, it's your risk and reward, isn't it? People might want to take more risks if you enter more teams, whereas if you play single entry, what people try and do is they try and play safe because it's their only entry and they think they don't want to take a chance. So, but we'll demonstrate how you can take a chance and still be profitable with just entering one team.
Definitely. And we're going to use the Game Week 36 Monster contest that is open now. There is 2 different buy-in levels for that. So you've got your €2 buy-in level and there's a €6,000 prize pool up for grabs within that. And you've got your €20 buy-in level and there's a €30,000 prize pool up for grabs in that. And that would be a nice way to end the season, really, wasn't it? We've got 2 weeks left of the Premier League season. It's been an intriguing one as it is, and it's still not over. Liverpool could get to City by the end of this, so a quadruple is on. There's so much to play for still, but we will show you today how we're going to approach this monster, starting with a single entry point of view. So let's get the monster contest up, Shaun, and we'll have a look at the games that we got on the slate, and then we can tell everyone how best to approach it from a single entry point of view.
Yeah.
So we've got 10 games on this slate. We've got Brentford versus Southampton, Burnley versus Aston Villa, Chelsea versus Wolves, Crystal Palace versus Watford, Brighton versus Manchester United, Liverpool versus Tottenham, Norwich versus West Ham, Leicester versus Everton, Arsenal versus Leeds, and Manchester City versus Newcastle. The first games for the Monster contest start at 3:00 on Saturday, and then they actually end on Sunday this week at 4:30. So no Monday night football, but that's what we got to work with. Any fixtures that sort of stand out for you within that for a single entry build to start with, Shaun?
Yeah, no, I mean, how I would approach it is I would look down all the fixtures and I would look at the teams that are actually, because of course we're only a couple of weeks left in the season, what teams are actually playing for something, what teams are needing to win, and I would look down them. So as you look down these, I mean, Brentford, Southampton, they're both safe. Burnley, they need to win against Villa, so I would most probably target Burnley. Chelsea, Wolves, near enough dead, isn't it? Not really playing for much. Palace, Watford are down, so you could attack Palace maybe because Watford are already down. Brighton, Man United, not a lot there. Liverpool, of course, against Spurs, but Spurs are playing for something, so there'll be no pushovers. Norwich, West Ham, Norwich practically down. Well, they're down, aren't they? West Ham's still, they've got a big tie in the Europa game on us tonight, innit?
Yeah, you got Europa League tonight. Leicester have got their Conference League as well.
Yeah, so there's only a small gap between their games, isn't it? Leicester, Everton. Arsenal I'd most probably attack against Leeds, and of course Man City will still be smarting after last night, so I feel a bit sorry for Newcastle because Man City are going to come out and smoke them. So yeah.
So they're the games that you would attack. With a single entry, for me, the way I sort of play with single entries, you have to be different. Like so, I don't play. I play to lose. Technically, I play for that lineup to come last. If I'm going to play a single entry bullet, for example. I play knowing it could come last, but I do it in a way so like I wouldn't captain Salah. Salah is a option that everyone's going to go to. He's probably going to be what should we say 60% owned, something like that, Shaun, within the game this week. Quite rightly, best player in the Premier League, probably one of the best players in the world at the minute. But
yeah, he's not. He's not one of the top price guys, isn't he? Man City, a top price guy, so you get a little bit of a discount, not a huge amount, but you get a little bit. But yeah, single entry, I definitely wouldn't captain Salah.
No, and to be honest, I wouldn't even play him. So that's what I'm saying. You have to get different if you're going to play a single entry bullet. For me, I want to win the big prize. I don't want to. I could enter an optimal lineup that's going to come middle of the pack, and I'm probably going to get my money back, maybe win, I don't know, £5 extra or something like that. But I want to be different with mine. I want it to either top the lot and win the lot, or I want it to finish at the bottom. I'm quite comfortable in playing like that with a single entry. Obviously, I understand that some people just want to play that optimal lineup and just be in the middle and get their money back and a little bit more, play for fun, so to speak. But that's how I approach it. Shaun, how do we get different on this slate? That's the problem. If we're going to play it with the differential picks, how do we get different on this slate?
Of course, the best way of getting different is captain choice, isn't it? Because you score double, so that's the most obvious way. So you have to try and look. So if you look at Salah, and he's going to be 60% owned and 30% owned captaincy wise, yeah. Yep. So you could maybe captain, if you're going to go Liverpool way, captain Mane.
Yeah.
So if he outscores Salah, I know we're talking ifs, then you're going to be ahead of all the Salah players. Or you could get completely different and maybe captain, depending on their starting lineup, captain Jota or Diaz, or if you're going to go the Liverpool route, or maybe even captain Van Dijk or Trent. If one of them score and get the clean sheet, you're looking at more than 20 points, aren't you? And Salah, and then Salah would have to score twice to get that.
This is something that you brought up to me earlier, actually, as well. It's also good to go back and look at previous results within the Monster, see how it's been won before, formation-wise, captain-wise. Just if you can do that over the last couple of weeks, go back and do it. It's very well worth doing because, again, you're just getting more information. You're getting more information within your head, and just another way of attacking this contest for this week.
Yeah, that's or the other way to be completely different with a single entry is captain Kane or Son.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because you are really going against the grain then, aren't you? Because, like we say, you're going to get that 60% ownership or captaincy on Salah. And if you go the Tottenham side, because Liverpool are playing Tottenham this week, so if you go the Tottenham side, you're going against the grain completely. That is what you need to do if you want to take these contests down at the end of the day. But if you're comfortable with that optimal lineup and finishing in the middle, then that's fine as well. There is no right or wrong way. If we all knew the right way, we'd all be millionaires at the end of the day. But this is how we're going to approach a single build today with me and Shaun. So should we start? Where do you want to start this build for a single entry, Shaun? Do you want to start in midfield?
Yeah, we'll start midfield.
Let's get over to midfield. And you've already mentioned the City assets being the most expensive there. What game do you... I mean, Chelsea are a hard one, aren't they, as well? They play Wolves this week. That's a standout fixture. Let's get their prices up for the midfielders. So it's Chelsea. They're not too bad price, but you not often see a lot of rotation with Chelsea, don't you?
Yeah, you never know from week to week what Chelsea are going to do you?
No.
Yeah, especially across their midfield and up front, and they rotate a bit, and you never know. I mean, you're never sure with Chelsea where the goals are going to come from, do you?
No. And we've already mentioned it. So should we put Son in this lineup because we want to do the single entry build. We want to get differential, and I think the best way to do that is go against Liverpool.
Yeah.
So let's get Son in. He's 7.6 million, so he's nice and cheap. Another thing we haven't really mentioned or haven't really got onto as of yet, but we will do within the build now, is stacking. So do we stack Son with Kane?
Yeah. Gives you upside, doesn't it?
So that gives you the upside, yeah. I mean, if Son assists Kane or vice versa, you've already got a leg up on the field, haven't you? So
yeah, that's right. If you play them both, you need them both to either score or get an assist against each other. There's no point Son scoring and you get an assist from, say, somebody, another midfielder like Kulusevski or somebody, and Kane doesn't do nothing because that really hurts your stack, doesn't it?
It does.
But then again, trying to be different, saying that everyone does Kane Son, isn't it? Maybe get different and go Son Kulusevski, Son with a defender, something like that.
Yeah, because I mean Tottenham have been. I haven't got them stats in front of me at the minute, but Tottenham have been pretty good defensively in recent weeks, haven't they? I mean Conte's nailed them down defensively, so you could. I mean, you could go for a triple stack if you really wanted to, couldn't you? I mean, if we put the form on, Doherty's obviously out injured, but and then Reguilon, so it would have to be Ben Davis really on form.
Yeah, he's have a wing back, isn't he? Yeah, I mean, and you look
Yeah.
at their prices; they're super, super cheap, and also playing Tottenham. You know, you're getting good value this week because they are playing Liverpool, and they're super cheap, which means you can get a couple of higher priced teams in later on in one of your builds. Where if you do Liverpool, that really handcuffs you a little bit. You're going to have to look cheaper straight away.
Yeah, definitely. So should we put Ben Davis? Should we go for a triple stack at Tottenham here? Because then I think
Yeah.
we're going completely against the grain, and this really does highlight that this lineup could fall on its feet, like it could fall straight on its face, really, like come Saturday evening. But what if Tottenham keep a clean sheet? What if Kane assists Son, or Son assists Kane, or Davis assists one of them? Then this lineup is going to be in a very, very good shape going into Sunday.
But that's right. And even if Spurs don't win it, as long as they score, then it kills
Yep.
all the Liverpool clean sheets straight away, doesn't it?
It does. It does. So let's try and find another game. I want to get differential everywhere kind of thing within this build, really highlight it, and then maybe we put a couple of the big City assets in at the end.
Yeah.
I Brighton an option against Man United because Man United have been poor. I think everyone's going to flock there again back to Manchester United. I mean, Ronaldo's been scoring, so there is that. But let's get the Brighton players up because I think they'll be cheap.
Yeah, they're
And they
pretty
are.
cheap, around 8.5, pushing nearly 9
Yeah.
million. They're cheap, and Brighton on a good run, aren't they? They won 3 in a row, is it, or something like that? 1, 2, drawn 1, something like that. Anyway, I mean, they beat Wolves last time comfortably. So
Yeah. So how would you want to? I think United score in this game, but I could see Brighton getting a draw or winning.
yeah.
Do we just put Trossard in to start with?
Yeah, I would start with Trossard. I was just looking at the two forwards. I mean, which one would you play? I mean, would they both start, or maybe one would start?
Well, Mumpai's got that yellow next to him, hasn't he? So is he a
Yeah,
50-50? And
but I suppose you could play Morpay, and then you would still get Welbeck as your safety net. Whereas if you played Welbeck and
yes, you're
Morpay
correct.
started,
Yeah,
you wouldn't get anything. So yeah, I would play safe and play Morpay.
we'll do that. So we'll do that. I don't think we want to do a triple stack there, do we? Because I think we're both in agreement that Man United would score as well.
Yeah, I
So
mean, so yeah, you have to take an opinion on what you think how the game's going to play out. So if you think Brighton were going to keep a clean sheet, you'd play a defender. But if you think Man United may get a goal, then I wouldn't touch the defenders.
definitely. Let's go to the goalkeeper. I think let's try and get a clean sheet and maybe stack him up with another defender or something like that. Hard to predict where a clean sheet is going to come from. Chelsea, I think, is probably the obvious one, but I think that's going to be too obvious, and I don't think we want that within the build as of yet. I would much prefer to have some City assets coming in the midfield a bit later on, just because I think they're going to be really annoyed with what happened yesterday, and I think Newcastle might be on the end of a drubbing this weekend. Let's say that. Any sort of standout? Is West Ham Norwich a standout?
No, I was going to look at Guaita for Palace. He's 9.5 million though. They're playing Watford at home.
Yeah. Let's get up the Palace. We should get Palace players up. Guaita's 9.5. What are the defenders saying there? So we're going form. That's on form. Anderson's the one. 8.9 million. They're not cheap, are they?
No, they're not cheap. But I mean, as you're trying to look for a clean sheet, they're all quite expensive, aren't they? I mean, you got Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City. I would say are the three obvious candidates for clean sheets. Of course, we're not going to be going Liverpool because we have Spurs already. Maybe what price of West Ham against Norwich?
Yeah, see, I don't mind that. I think West Ham could keep a clean sheet. They're getting a lot of players back from injury, actually, West Ham. So Fabianski's 9 million, the goalkeeper. Colfal, Cresswell. They're a little bit cheaper than who do we have in before? Sorry, the Palace. They're cheaper than the Palace. I think I'd prefer to go, and I think that's being different as well because I think a lot of people will flock to Palace and Chelsea this week.
Yeah, I think then, yeah. I think that'd be
Yeah.
a bit safer. Yeah, the only other option I was going to say was Raya from Brentford, but I mean, you never know with Southampton; they could nick one. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Should we go with Fabianski and Cresswell, and
yeah,
then because Cresswell's on the set pieces, isn't he? So we get that as well, which we want. I tend to only try and play three at the back in the monsters. I don't know how you approach it, Shaun, but that's kind of how I would like to keep this build if we can.
yeah. I mean, there's various ways of playing it. You can play three at the back, and you want goals, or do you play for clean sheets? Then you could play five at the back, but you're really putting all your eggs in one basket with your clean sheets. Because if you don't get clean sheets, then you're near enough dead, aren't you? So, yeah, I mean, I think three at the back would be safest. I mean, because of the scoring system on FanTeam, you get awarded more for goals for defenders and midfielders than forwards. So maybe I would only play one forward and maybe play five across the middle.
Yeah, I think that's an option as well, definitely. Should we try and get some of these City assets in quickly, and then we can see what we've got left to work with, basically, can't we? Which I think we're going to be okay because we've got quite a bit. We've got 54.6 million left, and we've got to get 4 players in still, so we're doing okay.
Yeah,
Let's get the midfielder assets in, and again, safety net's going to come into play. So, where would you want to go here? Do you want to? I guess it depends, really, doesn't it? Who played most last night? Mahrez come off, didn't he, last night? De Bruyne.
yeah. I mean, in their league games, they play a little bit different now. They don't the Sterling starts league games, doesn't he? Over Mahrez, is it?
Yeah, I think I don't mind starting Sterling actually within this build. So should we chuck him in? Because he
Yeah,
didn't play. He didn't play. He come on, didn't he, in extra time last night? He didn't play a lot. He'd probably start against Newcastle.
yeah, I think so. I mean, this is a Man City need to win as well, don't they, to keep the pressure
Yeah,
with Liverpool? So they're not going to be like mulling over their defeat too long. They're going to have to win this game. So yeah, Sterling, yeah.
definitely. And do we want to just double stack midfield City here, or do we want to get a defender in from City?
Yeah, what about the forward Jesus? Do you think he'll play? Because
He played a lot. Did he play most of the game last night?
yeah,
Yeah. No, I don't. I think I could see them deploying that false nine, probably having Sterling up front, to be fair, and then maybe Grealish and Foden either side of him or something like that.
I like Silva. I always play Silva when I play my teams. I mean,
Yeah, I like Bernardo Silva. You get a nice. I mean, he's safety net. Who would it be? Jack Grealish, wouldn't it?
and you got Gundogan and Grealish. So
Yeah,
you'd get Gundogan, Grealish, or Rodrigo. You'd think one of those would play if Silva
yeah,
didn't, wouldn't you?
yeah. Let's chuck Silva in then. Then we got double City midfield there. I don't mind that. Like we know we're saying you have to be different within these builds, and that is so, but only to a certain extent. Like you do have to put a little bit of the chalk in, so to speak, and
Yeah,
that's
because
kind of what we're doing there.
there's always phrases, isn't it, like good chalk or bad chalk and stuff. So
Yeah,
but we're going to be different enough by doing Spurs, isn't it? Over, that's gonna get you so. If Spurs do what you hope they're going to do, that's going to push you so far up anyway. So
yeah, and I think that's being so different even with Brighton in that team against Man United. I think that's being different as well. So
yeah,
I think like Cristiano Ronaldo is going to be highly owned this week, for example. So we got 27.1 million left to spend, Shaun. We've got quite a bit of money left in the bank here. Do we just want to add one more midfielder, go with 5 in midfield and one more at the back?
we could play. How many we're looking for? How many spots? 2, is it?
Yeah,
Look, 2 Arsenal spots maybe.
yeah. So we could. I think we could go with an Arsenal defender and maybe Saka in the midfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah. It's all good.
Again, so he's 13.5. We've got 13.6 left to spend on one player, and
I think also it's good to add that you don't have to use all of your budget. It's not
no,
like
should we?
requisite, is it?
No, you don't have to use all your budget. Should we just put Gabriel in? Because if anything, like Tierney's questionable, probably not going to play anyway. But if Gabriel doesn't play, he's the highest price defender, isn't he? So we'll get the safety net of any one of them after that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Tierney is not going to play. White was struggling with hamstring last week, so Tomiyasu might play, Tavares play. So yeah, no, that's right. You'll be safe enough if you play Gabriel.
Definitely. So that's our single entry build. Who would you captain and vice captain in that, Shaun? I would personally, because we're trying to be different. I think I would. I would know how different that would be. Actually.
Yeah, I would, because you're playing Spurs and you're playing Son because of you need a goal from him, don't you? I'd captain him or I'd captain Silva, because even though you're captaining a Man City player, and people say, "Oh yeah, they're going to be the obvious choice." Yep. Not a lot of captain Silva. They'll captain De Bruyne or Foden or whoever starts, isn't it? Or Sterling. They not so many with captain Silva. So yeah, I would choose one of those two, either Son or Silva to captain.
Okay, let's choose Son, and then who do you want to vice captain? Should we get really different and do Davis as vice captain?
Yeah,
because if we get the clean sheet, he gets a nice little bonus there with that, and I mean, if he assists Kane or Son, we're laughing.
Really. Well, if he gets a clean sheet, we'll be laughing because you'll kill all of Liverpool team completely, won't you?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a single entry bullet that me and Shaun have put together. There's many different ways you can do it, but I think we've highlighted the importance of being different to everyone else within the field, and that's with our 3-man Tottenham stack there. Like that's being very different.
Yeah, and also it's good to add, even though we have that's a single entry team, right? And people say, "Oh, you can't win with single entry." If you look at those players on that pitch there, that's not a bad side, is it? If you had that any given week, you think you've got chances with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, most definitely. And as Shaun has mentioned like a couple of times already, if Spurs do keep the clean sheet, you've killed anyone, and you've probably killed 60% of the lineups that have gone Liverpool. Yeah. So that's how you approach a single entry.
You're near enough going up cashing already, aren't you?
Most definitely.
Tottenham win 1-0, you know.
Now we're going to do it from a multi-entry point of view, Shaun. So is there any, just before we get into the build of it, is there any sort of way that you approach multi-entries?
Well,
any tips for the users?
If you multi-enter, I would say, because you're entering lots of teams, you're going for first. You're not going just to cash, because you're gonna, let's just say you build 50 teams, right, and you just want all 50 to cash. You don't care where they finish. You're only going to most probably double your money, if that. So you're going for first. So don't try and be different in your team. So you have like 2 and 3 and 4 different players in each team. Don't like have the same 11 and then just swap one out and then pick someone else. You're going for first. So you need to give yourself as many chances as possible to get first.
Most definitely. I don't know how you want to approach this build then. How do you want to start it? Should we start in the midfield again? Should we do it from a Liverpool side this time?
Yeah.
Should we just put the obvious choice in, which will be Salah?
Yeah, so the obvious choice, well, the way I go, you play Salah, you play Trent, and you play Robertson, so you get the 2 clean sheets, hopefully, and you get, hopefully, all the goals and the penalties from Salah.
Right, so we've gone there. That's a very, very expensive start. Totally different to how the single build went, but that's a very expensive start. It's going to be hard to get City options in now, isn't it? That will be the problem with that.
Yeah, a lot of people will try and fit as many Liverpool and City in as they can, and then just go super cheap somewhere else. Maybe put Leeds in because they'll be cheap.
Should we chuck a couple of City options in then?
Yeah, just to see what happens. Budget you're playing with. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens if we do that. Manchester City. Let's get a midfielder and the City defender in. See what happens.
You can do, but because you're spending so much money on a defender, you're going to need an attacking return from them. A clean sheet most probably won't pay off the budget. So yeah, you can go a defender, but maybe 2 midfielders if we're spending.
Okay. Should we just do what we done last time then? Go with Sterling and Silva?
Yeah.
Because we think they'll play anyway. So we've gone both City. That leaves us with 47.4 million left. We are going to have to get very cheap now, and I think we should look at trying to do it with the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Let's go by points. I mean, Sar's going to be cheap, isn't he, against Chelsea? And he's been one of the highest scorers within this game, hasn't he? Like all season, Jose Sar. It's going to be hard, isn't it? Because the cheaper options are probably less likely to keep a clean sheet as well, aren't they?
What about Leicester?
So Kasper Schmeichel there, he's 7.9 million. Yeah, I don't hate that. We could do that and then maybe go with a Leicester defender.
Yeah.
Let's put Kasper Schmeichel in then, and we'll go with a Leicester defender.
Justin maybe, or Soichu.
Let's sort it by form. Justin?
Yeah.
Right. So now we've got 32.2 million left, and we need 4 players still. This is going to be hard. Maybe we look at the forwards now and see what. Again, you can see that me and Shaun are stacking here. This is a good way to approach however you play. If you're playing multi-entry, single entry is a very, very good way to approach the monster. I mean, Kane's just a highlight, isn't he? I know we've gone Liverpool there, but like 7.3 million. Obviously, I don't want to put him in because we're banking on a Liverpool clean sheet here, but he's so cheap this week. I thought Pookie would have been cheaper than that, actually, against West Ham. Let's sort it by total. Let's see what that brings up for us. Dennis
Newcastle
against Palace?
Yeah, Newcastle are cheap.
Yeah, against Manchester City, though.
Yeah. Not Newcastle. Leeds. What about Leeds?
Yeah, I'll get to Leeds. Teams Leeds. Let's have a look at Leeds. Yeah, they're cheap. So Rodrigo's a nice price.
Yeah.
And maybe we put in a Leeds midfielder as well.
Can we get Rafinha in?
Yeah, we could at 7.2, and then that would leave us 18.8 million. So we've got just over 9 million per player left. So that works actually doing that.
Yeah.
Let's. I always like 3 at the back personally. That's just the way I like to do it. But let's get another midfielder in and see what we got. I think I'm just going to put it to points total. What about Bowen against Norwich? That's a nice price, isn't it? 12.1 million. Then we go for a cheaper defender.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So Bowen there, and then we've got 6.7 million left to spend on a defender, and I think we could probably find one. Definitely. I mean, Wolves are stubborn, aren't they? I know they just got whacked last time out, but they are a stubborn outfit, and I mean, Chelsea haven't been brilliant as of late. So Cody's an option.
Someone in like Roberts or Tarkowski from Burnley, they're only 6.6 million.
Let's get the Burnley teams up. It's Burnley. Yeah, that's an option, isn't it? They're playing Villa. Villa haven't been on fire. Let's get Tark. Let's set it by form, and then we'll see what we've got. So Collins, should we put Collins in?
Yeah.
Based on form. Again, so who would you captain in that? Is that a Salah captain in that, or are you going to captain one of the City boys, or?
Yeah, because it's a multi-entry, you're going to give yourself plenty of chances. So yeah, you pick Salah in just in case if he goes off. So in this team, you'll pick Salah, and then we'll get to the next team in a minute. But yeah.
So as we're going to multi, who would you vice captain as well? It's just another one of the Liverpool boys, Trent or someone.
Yeah.
So Trent with the vice captaincy there. So as we're saying, multi-entries. Would you enter this a few times, this lineup, Shaun, and then maybe change the captaincy up, or change a couple of the players here and there? Change the City boys up, for example.
Yeah, I'd possibly change the 2 City boys, and then maybe put 2 different City guys in, or 1 different City guy in.
Let's change the City boys then. So let's get them out of it. Let's go back to.
Or you could put the Arsenal guys in.
You could do. Let's go to the City guys quickly. See if we could get. We could get Foden, couldn't we? I think City are probably a bit risky this week, aren't they? Because of that game they've played. Mahrez and De Bruyne are probably unlikely to start. So let's go to Arsenal then. Let's go to Arsenal. and then we could stack up with Arsenal. We could. So I think Saka there is probably the number one option we put in, and then we've got 14.4 million left. So we could have anyone. Odegaard.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So that's just different ways of multi-entry in there, isn't it? So let's just, I don't know, we're just throwing things out in the air now. So you could do that, and then if you wanted to captain one of the Arsenal boys, and this is how you do multi-entry for that.
That's right. And then you could change the 2 Leicester guys to 2 different, maybe 2 Palace guys, a defender and the goalkeeper, and just things like that. And that's how people multi-enter. They give themselves so many different chances, and that's why people, that's how you do it. You don't just do 50 teams of practically the same, because that defeats the object. But yeah, you're going for first. That's the most important thing. That's what you're trying for. You're going for first because you're doing many more teams. You're spending a lot more money. You're risking a lot more money. So you want to get as high up as that leaderboard as you possibly can.
Definitely. So we hope that's helped a few of you out. Like we say, there is no right or wrong with DFS. There's many different ways you can approach it. You do need a little bit of luck on the way as well, especially in football. But there is many ways, and I just kind of hope that's helped people out. Like we've just shown you a couple of ways that how we approach it, but you might just do it completely different. There's no
you
right
can
or
win
wrong.
with one team. It's impossible, is it? You can win with one.
No, you can win with one, but you can win with one. And I personally think that the way we showed you how to win with one today is the best way to do it. Perhaps not that team, but the way we went about the build is the best way for you to take it down with a single entry like that. Anyway, Shaun, where can we find your lovely self, please?
Twitter, SMODFS, and obviously on FanTeam Discord, in there all the time. So lots of good people in there chatting all different sports and stuff. So yeah, it's a good place to learn and to learn strategies. And that's the one big thing I would take away from whatever you play in DFS, one entry, multi-entry, whatever contest you play. After it finishes, go have a look at the winning team and compare that team to the team you entered, and to see how different you were from them and where you went wrong and how you would learn. And that's how you get better, by learning. But the people moan that, the Sharks always win and all this stuff. They didn't start as Sharks.
No,
they were new at some stage. So where did they learn from? So why don't you copy those?
Yeah, and that is the idea. You need to put in research. FanTeam provide a load of content and things like that as it is at the minute. You need to look at stuff like that. You need to put in your own research. Hunt around. There's plenty of stuff on the internet. If you just type football DFS in on Twitter, for example, it'll bring up a ton of information on stuff, right?
Yeah, and there are paid content, but there is a hell of a lot of free stuff. So you don't have to spend no money. It's all free. Just search Twitter and you can find plenty of free stuff on a regular basis. Like on FanTeam, all the content on there is all free.
Yeah, just head over. Even on FanTeam, just head over to the FanTeam blog. There's plenty of content over there. If you want to play in this week's Monster, sign up at FanTeam. Just head over there at fanteam.com. You can sign up there. Once again, there's a €2 entry. There's a €20 entry. Obviously, the prize pools differ in both. There's a €6,000 prize pool in the smaller one, and there's a €30,000 prize pool in the bigger one. Good luck to everyone in
practice on the small one, isn't it? Yeah, just practice on the small one, isn't
it? Maybe you want to go, I want to put 5 teams in this week. There you go. Just go on the small one, €10. Job done. There's your thing. You can do stuff like that. You can have fun doing stuff like you could practice your little multi-entry techniques that me and Shaun have just showed you today on the small one if you wanted to do something like that. It's all, you've got great options available over at FanTeam. Just head over there at fanteam.com. Good luck to everyone in this week's Game Week 36 Monster. Shaun, thank you for joining me once again. And I will be back tomorrow night for a special FanTeam Game Week 36 Monster build show. Cheers, guys.
Thanks. Bye.